Gustav R., also known as upcoming artist Lil Peep, unfortunately passed away due to an accidental overdose on November 15, 2017. 2 years later, on July 1st, 2019, former Major League Baseball player Tyler Skaggs, just like Peep, unfortunately passed away due to an accidental overdose. And then 4 years later, on July 31st, 2023, actor Angus Cloud, most known for his role as Fezco in the hit HBO series Euphoria, unfortunately passed away just like the previous two due to an accidental overdose. Now, I've listed 3 people in 3 different professions in 3 different times who's never come across each other, yet they're bonded together forever by one substance: fentanyl. There have been plenty of other instances of musicians, athletes, actors, and just the common people who work every day tirelessly trying to make it through this game we call life, who found themselves victim to this sneaky killer we know as fentanyl, just because they wanted to take a break and indulge in something that brings them peace in a hectic world. And unfortunately, with the rise of overdoses in the past 5 years, fentanyl is becoming such a serious problem that the government recently had to move the substance from a class 2 drug like morphine, oxycodone, and methamphetamine to a class 1 drug like ecstasy, marijuana, LSD, and heroin, just because of how addictive this drug is. And though our president, whether you like him or not, is trying to put his foot down on the neck of smugglers and dealers by passing bills and imposing terrorists that actually have seemed to help the decline in deaths so far in 2025, he only has 4 years in office. Then it's up to the next person to either keep the foot on the neck of this drug or ease up and allow for things to get out of hand. And I know in today's time, with social media and people loving to make serious matters seem less than they are, I really believe it's important to make a video now, considering the mass effect fentanyl could potentially have on the future of not just America, but society all around. So in this edition of the Negative Influence series, we'll be diving into the dangerous world of fentanyl.
365 You are now watching The Negative Influence. Enjoy.
Now, before we can really explore the belly of the beast, we must first explain and understand who the beast is. Firstly, we must understand there are typically 2 forms of fentanyl used in the world, and if there was ever a third, just hope you can afford a ticket to Mars, cause we'd be cooked. The 2 forms are either 1, pharmaceutical fentanyl, which is FDA approved and of course used only in medical settings or if prescribed by a doctor, and then there's number 2, illegally made fentanyl, which I think we can just assume isn't FDA approved, right? Now, one fascinating thing about fentanyl is that it's a synthetic opioid, meaning it's a lab-made, aka human-made drug, which now makes complete sense of why it's so damn dangerous, because humans just hate humans. Now, originally, the sole purpose of fentanyl being created was to be a backup pain reliever whenever patients who were already on an opioid for chronic pain require something stronger in the case they experience a rise in their pain, mainly for people out of surgery and for people battling advanced stage cancer. Now, I don't know if you ever had someone you know deal with cancer, but I'll tell you right now, it's one of the most painful illnesses to go through as a human, and because of that, fentanyl was created to be very potent. Sorry I said potent like that, but you may be asking, just how potent is it, Zio? Well, how about approximately 100 times stronger than morphine and 50 times more stronger than heroin? And for the people who still don't understand just how strong and deadly this drug is, according to the United States Drug Enforcement Administration, 1 kilogram of fentanyl has the potential to kill 500,000 people. And crazy enough, according to the official White House website, over the last fiscal year, Customs and Border Protection has apprehended more than 21,000 pounds of fentanyl at our border, which is enough to kill more than half of the Earth's population. Mind you this, federal officials are estimated to only have seized a fraction of fentanyl smuggled across the southern border. So yeah, I think it's safe to assume whatever pain you're feeling before using fentanyl won't be a felt sensation ever again. And just a fun fact as well before we move on in the video, if you're ever acquiring any substances you legally shouldn't have, just be on the lookout for names like China Girl, Dance Fever, Friend, Goodfellas, Great Bear, or even Freddy. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because those are the street names for fentanyl used. So if you're ever hearing them, just know you're about to experience the back door of doom. So moving on, now that we know what fentanyl is, we must now understand how this drug is done and why it's done. Because what possibly could cause a human to willingly take a drug that makes them stand around like a Left 4 Dead zombie? Well, to answer honestly, nothing. I say this because, like I called it earlier in the video, it's a silent killer. Usually fentanyl would take a user by surprise because of how easy it is to lace within other drugs. Just for example, this is a picture of cocaine and this is a picture of fentanyl. You see it, it's white, it's powdery. Okay, got it, perfect. Now here's another example. This is an oxy pill and this is a fentanyl pill. You see it, it's round, says M, says 30. Perfect, got it. Now I want you to know, I just lied to your ass. Those pictures were actually flipped around, and that's exactly how easy it is to catch someone's guard who's down or not knowledgeable what they're really taking. Because fent can be crushed into a powder, taken as a pill, smoked, done by patches, or even spiked on a bloater paper, drug dealers and makers have been mixing it within other drugs such as heroin, meth, cocaine, and as of recently even spraying it onto marijuana as a cheap solution, just increasing the likelihood of your next hit being your last hit. And I can't ever sit here and judge a person who falls victim because one, most people don't even realize when they've been laced because the everyday person isn't trained to notice. Fentanyl has no change in smell or taste, even being so lethal it can be absorbed through the skin if airbound. And then from there, you only have a few minutes until it's kicked into your system. Then two, even if you are aware, it only takes a 2 milligram dose, which is similar to about 10 to 15 grains of salt, to cause the death of just the average person. And let's just be real here, who the fuck is realizing there are only 2 milligrams of fent within their coke whenever it literally all looks the exact same? Sometimes you just have to put yourself in the shoes of people who buy these drugs and understand that this usually isn't their first rodeo with what they're buying. Other times, buyers are coming and going, or even worse, this is someone's first time purchasing a substance they don't know much about, and boom, it's too late. So it's not crazy that they never assume to check what they're using. And though the number of overdoses are going down, the spread is only going up. So don't ever think this can't ever happen to you, because I'm sure this was the same idea many people thought before unfortunately passing away. But listen, I don't say all of this to fearmonger anyone, kinda. But just because you take fent doesn't mean it's going to end you. It's not going to kill you immediately. When taken safely, just like any other opioid, you will have side effects known as a high. And in terms of a fentanyl high, you'll experience feeling euphoric, relaxed, excessive happiness, and all the good stuff you can never feel anywhere else. But just like any other drug, fentanyl does have its short-term effects after use, such as dizziness, drowsiness, sedation, confusion, constipation, nausea and vomiting, and shit. While we're at it, just to tie up the loose end on the viral fentfold joke, the reason you'll see people experience this zombie-like effect is because the drug's potent effects on your central nervous system, causing intense muscle relaxation and a loss of motor control, causing for users to lose the ability to maintain proper posture, resulting in the characteristic bending over. Mind you, this posture is often involuntary and indicative of how the drug's profound impact on the brain's motor functions. I know that was a lot, but I do want you to be aware of just exactly what you're taking, because sure, the high does sound great, that after effect sounds horrible. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So now that we know what fentanyl is, why people use fentanyl, and the effects that fentanyl has on the user, we must now understand what happens in the case of an overdose. Now in the case of an overdose, you'll typically see slowed or shallow breathing, dizziness and confusion, unresponsiveness, low blood pressure, nausea and vomiting, changes in pupillary size, decreased heart rate, cold and clammy skin, blue colored lips, and fingernails. And this is evident in such cases as the viral police body cam that came out showing the world the reality of how dangerous this drug is. And I will note, in the case you are in a situation where someone has overdosed, the best chance you have if you can't get to medical emergency in time is to administer naloxone as fast as possible. And don't even kill me in the comments, because I know I most likely probably said the naloxone wrong as shit, but you can also just get Narcan. I feel like everyone knows what Narcan is. It's the same thing. Now, thankfully for anyone who watches this and gets a light bulb over their head to drop the drug, I will say I love hearing that for you, but there is consequences to your actions. And unfortunately, because fentanyl changes your brain chemistry when dependence set in, it must now revert to your original factory settings, subjecting you to bad withdrawals such as cold flashes, vomiting, diarrhea, severe cravings, uncontrollable leg movements, muscle and bone pain, and sleep problems. Now, I know with withdrawals this grueling, you'd say fuck that, but I suggest either going into rehab so you can get the best treatment by professionals, or try to surround yourself with people who genuinely care and want the best for you. Because though the challenge of overcoming the drug seems like a treacherous journey, I promise the light at the end of the tunnel will be worth the pain of healing yourself and staying alive. Now, usually I would love to get into the legality and understand why this drug is so popular and where it's coming from, but unfortunately for a topic as broad and new as fentanyl, it's very political to get into, and I don't believe I would be doing it much justice saying it myself. And that's also just not the point of this video at all. This is to spread awareness, but I do want to go over a quick review just in case I didn't answer any questions you may have had in your head. First question, is fentanyl addictive? Well, yes, it's highly addictive. Wouldn't recommend. 0 out of 5 stars. Second question, can fentanyl poison you? Yes, you can literally die if you take too much, which is literally about only 2 grams. Don't do it, it's not worth it. Third question, how do I know if I'm buying real fentanyl versus fake? Well, 1, if you're getting fentanyl, it should only be from a medical trusted source or if prescribed. And 2, if you're buying any illegal substance and want to stay safe, you can test by using fentanyl test strips, which you can buy online or at your nearest pharmacy. They're not expensive, they're actually cheap, so I would suggest that if you are nervous. Question number 4, if you have naloxone, is fentanyl safe to use? Well, this is a no and yes, because naloxone does reverse the symptoms of fentanyl, but just like a plan B, it doesn't always work. So if you're playing a risky game of Russian roulette where you think you could just use fent and then use naloxone as a cheat code to get your reboot card, I promise you it's a chance that it might not work. I'm telling you, there's a chance you might time out. Fifth question, why do dealers sell knowing the drug is so dangerous? Well, there's multiple ways of answering this question, but I'm just gonna give you the 2 easiest ones. Either the people selling are unaware and genuinely don't even know, because let's be real here, street dealers are just street dealers, they're not kingpins. And 2, the makers of the drugs that are giving it to the dealers just don't care about the users and are trying to cut costs by substituting real drugs with cheaply made fent. Question number 6, do you sell Zeo? No, I don't sell fentanyl. Stop asking questions now. Question time is over. I don't want to answer anymore. That was your last question. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate getting a moment of your time to just spread awareness and educate people on a growing disaster that may soon put people in harm's way. I will also be including all my sources for the information I put into this video in the description, plus more if you'd like to do your own research and reading. And I've also included the National Drug Helpline information in the case you're fighting the heavy battle of addiction yourself and need help. I know from personal experience how hard it is to get away from a substance you felt connected to, but I promise you're stronger than you believe. This is a day-by-day fight that will end as long as you continue to believe in yourself, push yourself, and make the steps towards a better you. Thank you again though for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. My goal is to reach 20k by summertime and continue to be more consistent on the channel. So wow, y'all know I can't speak, bro, but any interaction would be very kind. Also be sure to leave a comment if you yourself have any additional knowledge, or if you have a story to tell that could probably help the next person who feels it's too late to get better. I love y'all. Stay cool. It's been your boy Zio, the Lieutenant. I'm out of here. Bah.